The night was darker than usual. A dense fog blanketed the abandoned town of Black Hollow, muting even the faintest of sounds. The streets, once lively and bustling, now lay in eerie silence, with broken streetlights casting ghostly shadows across the cracked pavements. Amelia, a young journalist, had ventured into the desolate town after hearing rumors of strange occurrences, whispers of a curse-plagued Black Hollow, stories of people who entered and never returned. Driven by curiosity and a need to uncover the truth, Amelia arrived armed with her camera and a flashlight. The air was thick and suffocating as she stepped into the town square. The old clock tower loomed over her, its hands frozen at midnight. A chill ran down her spine as she noticed the faint sound of footsteps echoing in the distance. She spun around, her flashlight piercing the fog, but found nothing. "Just my imagination," she muttered, trying to shake off the unease creeping up her spine. She made her way to the center of the square, where a large fountain stood, dry and covered in moss. As she examined it, she noticed strange markings etched into the stone. Symbols, unfamiliar and ominous, seemed to pulse faintly under the beam of her flashlight. Amelia took out her camera and began to snap pictures. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the square, extinguishing her flashlight. The darkness swallowed her whole. Panicked, she fumbled with the flashlight, trying to turn it back on, when she heard a low, guttural whisper. "Leave." Amelia froze. The voice seemed to come from all around her. Her hands trembled as she managed to switch the flashlight back on. The beam of light revealed a figure standing just a few feet away. It was a woman, pale and gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to glow faintly in the dark. "Who are you?" Amelia stammered, taking a step back. The woman tilted her head, her lips curling into a haunting smile. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost soothing, but there was something deeply unsettling about it. Before Amelia could respond, the woman vanished, leaving behind only the echo of her words. Heart pounding, Amelia turned and ran, her footsteps echoing through the empty streets. She didn't stop until she reached the edge of town. Breathing heavily, she glanced back. The fog seemed to thicken, swallowing the town whole. But she couldn't leave, not yet. She had to know the truth. Gathering her courage, Amelia decided to explore the old mansion that stood on the outskirts of Black Hollow. The mansion was said to be the source of the curse, the place where it all began. Its towering silhouette loomed against the foggy sky as she approached. The door creaked open with a deafening groan. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of decay. The walls were lined with faded portraits, their eyes seeming to follow her as she moved. The floorboards creaked under her weight, each step echoing through the empty halls. Amelia reached the grand staircase, its banister covered in cobwebs. She ascended slowly, her flashlight illuminating the path. On the second floor, she found a door slightly ajar. A faint light seeped through the crack, flickering like a dying flame. Pushing the door open, she stepped into a room filled with candles. In the center stood a large mirror, its surface cracked and blackened. As she approached, she noticed her reflection. But something was wrong. Her reflection smiled at her, though she hadn't moved a muscle. "Amelia," the reflection whispered, its voice distorted and otherworldly. "You can't escape." Terror gripped her as the reflection reached out, its hand pressing against the glass. The mirror began to ripple like water, and a cold hand emerged, grabbing her wrist. Amelia screamed, pulling back with all her strength, but the grip was unrelenting. "Stay with us," the voice said, now coming from all around her. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on grotesque forms. The room seemed to close in, the air growing colder by the second. Summoning every ounce of courage, Amelia yanked her hand free and smashed the mirror with her flashlight. The glass shattered, and a deafening scream echoed through the mansion. The shadows dissipated, and the candles extinguished, plunging the room into darkness. Amelia stumbled out of the room, her heart racing. She didn't stop running until she was outside the mansion, the cool night air hitting her face. She turned back to see the mansion crumble into the ground, leaving behind only an empty field. She left Black Hollow that night, her camera filled with pictures and her mind haunted by the horrors she had witnessed. But even as she drove away, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. In the rearview mirror, she saw a pale face staring back at her, smiling.